2019 is here, and you may not even be used to saying it yet, but who cares? Back to video games. There are some dropping this month that we think are worth keeping an eye on. So today we're bringing you 10 of the best games releasing in January 2019. Starting off with number 10, let's talk about Ace Combat 7: Skies Unknown. These games have honestly flown under the radar for a criminal amount of time because they're surprisingly awesome. They're not just another aerial combat game, because they bring with it a little bit more of a Bandai Namco Japanese-style charm. There's actually a compelling narrative to it, and this one is on current-gen consoles. It's actually the first game in the series to be running on Unreal Engine 4. Not only that, but if you're really feeling nasty, on the PS4 version, you get exclusive PSVR missions as well. Honestly, these games have always just been straight-up, straightforward fun, and Ace Combat 7 has been delayed for quite some time after being announced in like 2015, so we're hoping it lives up to the name. It's dropping January 18th for PS4 and Xbox One, and PC a little bit later, February 1st. But next up at number 9, we have Life is Strange 2 Episode 2. Now, the first episode set up a pretty interesting premise between two characters, two brothers, who, no spoilers really, but by the time we leave off with them, are traveling essentially across America on the run. So what is most interesting about this new Life is Strange to me is not only the family-brother dynamic thing, but the fact that every episode ideally is going to take place in a completely different location. How far will this adventure take the two brothers? I'm not totally sure, but we here thought that the first episode was off to a pretty good start. We're just hoping that they can really ramp it up and raise the stakes for episode 2. It's releasing January 24th for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Coming over to number 8, speaking of story-based episodic games, we actually have The Walking Dead: The Final Season, Episode 3. I think it's almost a miracle that we are getting this, but it's pretty awesome. For those of you that don't know, Telltale Games, the people behind The Walking Dead games, recently suddenly shut their doors, and the final season was kind of left in limbo and unfinished until Skybound Entertainment picked it up and essentially formed a new studio with some of the former Telltale Games workers to essentially finish Clementine's story. So here we're getting Episode 3. The final season did start off pretty interestingly enough, so I'm curious to see if they can finally take it across the finish line and really give us an emotional impact like we got from the first Walking Dead season with Lee. That's a tall order. Maybe I'm keeping the bar too high here, but I'm still thankful that we're actually getting a conclusion to this awesome story-based series. You don't get ones like these very often, and I'm just happy they exist. It's dropping January 15th, 2019 for PC, exclusively to the Epic Store unless you already have the Season Pass, and PS4 and Xbox One. Now, next up at number 7, we have Y2K, a postmodern RPG. I think that's how you say it. You may have noticed this game from the Kinda Funny Games Showcase. This is a very interesting indie-style RPG that has a lot of Western sensibilities to it in terms of its looks, but it's actually designed more with JRPG tendencies in mind. Judging from the footage and the trailers, this game is creatively really ambitious, set with some pretty interesting-looking characters, in a time period you don't really see represented in games that often just because it's so normal. But this has been in the works for quite a while. They had put out like a demo and just demonstrations on PC years ago. So it's nice to see this thing is finally reaching the finish line. Not only that, you're also going to be able to play it on a lot of different platforms when it drops on January 17th. It's going to be on PC, PS4, Nintendo Switch, and also the Vita. Good on them. We love Vita support. Now, next at number 6, we have Tropico 6. See what I did there? These games are strategy-type games, but they're more like dictator simulators, and they're really cool. This time around, they're bringing back election speeches, and the research system is kind of cleaned up and revised. The idea is to give you a lot more freedom and a lot more to do, and generally, the game is apparently going to have a lot more customization from the way you design certain things and build certain things. Not only that, the game will take place on large archipelagos, and you can manage multiple islands at once. And it's going to feature online multiplayer for up to 4 players. I would say if you're any type of gamer on the list, if you're a PC gamer, you should definitely keep your eye on this one because it's that perfect style of game that's incredibly satisfying. But not only PC, it's also going to be releasing on PS4 and Xbox One. It's all dropping on January 25th. Now, next at number 5, we have Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. This is actually dropping for the 10th anniversary of when the original game released. This is very much a JRPG for JRPG fans, but I'll always take another one. And thankfully, with this new cleaned up, remastered Definitive Edition that looks absolutely gorgeous, more people than ever are going to be able to get their hands on what is now kind of a classic since it's dropping for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. And thankfully, you won't have to wait too long into the month of January to get your JRPG-ness on because it's dropping January 11th. Now, next at number 4, we have a game I'm very excited about, and that's Onimusha Warlords. This, at this point, is like a classic Capcom PlayStation 2 game, and at the time it released, it was absolutely fantastic. Think of it almost like a fantasy samurai Resident Evil style game. While movement and navigation and just the general atmosphere feels totally survival horror, the combat was actually pretty awesome, and every slice of your katana felt really cool. I think that's definitely going to translate over, if not feel even better, because now the visuals are cleaned up in high definition with 16:9 support, and honestly, I haven't played the first one since it released, so I'm really hoping it lives up to the nostalgia factor in my head. But Samanosuke is an awesome character, and the world of Onimusha is so cool that we're really excited that new people are going to be able to experience on basically everything: PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch on January 15th. Coming down to number 3, we have another game that's like a cult hit, seeing kind of a revival, and that is a new No More Heroes. This one, Travis Strikes Again. Suda51 and Grasshopper Manufacturer have a fan base for a reason. Their games are unconventional, weird, totally out there, and Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes looks to totally live up to that. However, it is strikingly different than the previous No More Heroes games, I will say that. It takes place after the events of No More Heroes 2, but the gameplay is more from a top-down perspective this time around, with an emphasis on 2-player co-op, and the idea is you go around and jump into different video games and kind of get rid of bugs. So what this results in is a bunch of varied gameplay with mini-game types of things. Apparently Suda wanted to just explore new types of things instead of an action slashy game. He wanted to just mess around with retro video game concepts. Personally, I don't know if this is exactly what I was looking for in a new No More Heroes game, but if it has the personality, the style, the characters, and the story of the previous games, I'm all in, man. Next up at number 2, we have the Resident Evil 2 Remake, which is my personal most anticipated game for at least the first half of 2019, and it's dropping for all the major consoles, and it's a complete reimagining from the ground up of the original classic Resident Evil 2. For me, this is where it really all began. This is where the Resident Evil lore started to go buck wild and absolutely crazy, and for people to come in for the first time and experience this and see where a lot of stuff really all began, even more so than the original Resident Evil, it's very, very exciting. Not only that, here they do seem to be emphasizing actual scare factor. Lots of environments from the original game that we were all used to are now shrouded in darkness. I hope they retain the survival horror elements, but the game is designed to keep even old players on their toes, with scenarios changed up a little bit. But you're going to be able to play as Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield, 2 awesome video game characters, and I really hope this is a good one. As much as I really liked Resident Evil 7, it is nice to see Resident Evil have more of its third-person action again. But we will see just how well it holds up to the original on January 25th. Now, coming down to number 1, the most anticipated game for a lot of people is Kingdom Hearts 3. I can't believe I'm finally saying that this game is actually releasing. It's dropping on PS4 and Xbox One at the end of the month, January 29th, and we're really hoping it lives up to fan expectations. There have been leaks out there. People have gotten their hands on the game. The story is out there, so hopefully if you're a diehard, it's not spoiled for you. But Kingdom Hearts 3 is bringing lots of new scenarios, lots of new characters on both the Kingdom Hearts proper side and also the Disney character side. Most notably, the Toy Story environments look really awesome. As someone who had a connection to the first game but never played the second or came around, I'm not only frantically trying to catch up with all the series lore for 3 in time, but also I'm just really curious to see what the big fans of the series really think of this one. But the wait is finally over, so I guess we'll find out soon enough. Those are the January games to look forward to, but there is a bonus one as well. If you're looking for something else to play on your Switch that you didn't get to play previously, they're re-releasing New Super Mario Bros. U on Switch January 11th. But like I said, those are all the January games we think are worth your time, so we want to hear from you guys down in the comments. You're probably burnt out from the holidays, but if you got your own top 5 or your own top 2 or just one game you're getting in January, we'd love to hear it down in the comments. If you learned a thing or two, clicking the like button really helps us out. We do appreciate it, but if you're new, you should consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell because we put out new videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.